Gustavo Padilla and Rafael Ramos. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening, the very first World Championship bout ever to take place in the state of Idaho, the WBA Middleweight Championship of the World, scheduled for 12 rounds of boxing. Introducing to you first on my right, fighting out of the red corner, he is wearing white trunks with blue lettering and coming all the way from Seoul, Korea. He weighed in at a ready 159 pounds. His record includes 7 wins, 2 losses, and 2 draws, with 4 wins by way of knockout. He is currently the Orient and Pacific Boxing Federation middleweight champion and ranked number 8 WBA middleweight contender in the world, introducing the challenger, Ki-Young Song. And his opponent across the ring on my left is the defending world champion, fighting out of the blue corner. He enters the ring wearing white trunks with red trim and fighting out of Houston, Texas. He weighed in at an even 160 pounds. His outstanding record includes 32 victories, only 2 defeats with 1 draw, and 20 wins by way of knockout. Introducing the defending WBA middleweight champion of the world, Reggie Sweet Johnson. Once again, here's a referee in charge, Luis Rivera.
You have received the rules of regulation in the dressing room. Any questions? Shake hands. Good luck.
Reggie Johnson, the WBA middleweight champion, gained in leaps and bounds with his masterful victory over Lamar Parks, a fight in which he was the 8-5 underdog to the challenger. And he steps in the ring, continuing to look for more respect. And in this, the first World Championship fight ever to take place in the state of Idaho, will this be a dud in the land of the Spud, or will Ki-Young write a new song in the middleweight division? Ki-Young Song, as Sean had mentioned, comes out of the Orient Pacific Federation Championship, and that is why he is ranked in the top 10 in the WBA. But keep in mind, as a middleweight, 159 pounds, that is not a very strong division in the Orient. So you really don't know what you're getting in Ki-Young Song tonight.
Well, he's the heaviest person in Korea.
He's a heavyweight in Korea.
Well, you know, he's doing something very good in this opening round. He's throwing that right hand to the body. Those left-handers, as Reggie is, they are susceptible to that punch, especially downstairs to the body. What Song wants to do is get Reggie to sit down and trade with him. Take those legs away for those later rounds. He's doing well here in his first round.
Reggie Johnson expects Song to come right at him in the early rounds, and that's exactly what he's getting in the first minute.
But Reggie must be very careful of the top of the head of Ki-Young Song.
As he's found out already.
Right, Song, when he comes in, he puts his head in front of his gloves. And that's dangerous. In the amateurs, they have a rule that is against the rule.
Here's a guy who's fighting for a world championship in one of the glamour divisions in the world. And he won 1 fight in his first 5 as a pro. Ki-Young Song had a long, distinguished amateur career in Korea. And he started his pro career against very strong opponents. He thought he was ready, but he was not. Second pro fight, he fought an 8-rounder. In his 4th pro fight, he was fighting a 10-rounder. So he feels he has grown up very quickly. Since that time, he has reeled off 6 straight. He was 1-2-2 in his first 5 fights. But getting, again, the automatic placement in the WBA top 10, it's not as if in those 6 wins he had faced some top 10 contenders.
And the real pertinent fact that I look at, Al, he's only had 1 fight in the last year.
Let it go, let it go.
Activity is the key. It's more difficult in Korea to get fights back-to-back, but he's just not been active enough recently. Although doing well in this first round. But you see the speed of Reggie Johnson is what is doing most of the damage.
Well, Johnson comes in, says, first few rounds, let's see what Song has to offer. Song says, hey, Reggie, you offered nothing there. That's a slip.
Good right hook. It's a slip, but it's very instrumental in this fight. You want to put your opponent on the canvas and make him embarrassed if nothing else.
And Johnson comes back with a couple of sneaky rights.
My brother, about to...
When you get hit from a southpaw, it's awkward. The punches come at you from different angles. Watch this right hook from Reggie Johnson. There is one. A little bit later, he threw the right hook and knocked down, although it was ruled a slip, knocked down Song. The front feet get tangled up against the left-handers also.
And Song going back to his corner at the end of the first round. His corner people telling him to relax. You could understand him being a little tight.
And it's difficult for him to fight here in our hemisphere. He's used to fighting halfway around the world. He's used to living halfway around the world. He spent his whole life in Korea. Now he's fighting a 17-hour time difference. It is, right now, it's 1 o'clock in Korea.
The biggest fight of his life coming to Boise, Idaho, which tonight has become the melting pot of international boxing. We had a South African in our first fight, Datao Malafiani, and now Korean Ki-Young Song. Actually, his crew was in Los Angeles for 4 days, and they have spent a week here in Boise. And this is only his 12th pro fight, and he steps in front of one of the craftiest champions in the world in Reggie Johnson, trying to take away his WBA middleweight crown.
A very slick boxer is Johnson. He said now he's trying to work more on his power to become a boxer puncher.
Well, he has certainly demonstrated enough power. James Toney could attest to that. Toney was put down by a straight left from Reggie Johnson, but he is working on the strength. And his people figure, you know, you combine strength with the knowledge that he has of the game inside the ring, and he certainly moves into the elite fighter class.
Well, he's very skilled, and he is switching around to the right-handed stance, back to the left. Shows the ambidextrous moves that he has. He's very skillful. And I like in this fight how he got started earlier than the last time we saw him. The last time we saw him against Lamar Parks, I felt like he waited too long to get started. But he said in that fight, he proved that he was accurate, that he was the best, and that Parks brought me up to another level.
Well, what he did, he confused Parks. Parks couldn't set up his power shots. Johnson kept the jab in his face, stayed on the move. If he ever got hurt, tied him up. Really kept Parks off balance, nullified a really great-looking young middleweight with a terrific power punch.
Who coming into that fight was favored.
And undefeated. But Johnson rose to a different level in that 12th and final round. A level that you wish you could see on a more permanent basis when he starts talking about Muhammad Ali. That's the kind of level. We'll pause now for a word from your local cable systems. Reggie Johnson against Ki-Young Song for the WBA middleweight crown. We're talking about Reggie Johnson, who is looking for that charisma and excitement in the ring. We're talking about comparison to Ali, not the class of Ali, but he's talking about the flair of the Muhammad Ali.
Right, and he needs fights like this where he can school. You can see how he's bringing what he learned from the Lamar Parks into this match with him. You can see above his head a light bulb going on. He is thinking inside the ropes. He's moving. He's doing exactly what he wants. For him, Song is the perfect type of opponent, an opponent who will push him a little bit, but not too much. Make him learn. He's a terrific fighter. But now he needs to take it to the next level. He needs to take it to the next step. He realizes that. He wants to unify this middleweight championship. Says he wants James Toney again. He wants Julian Jackson. He wants to be the only middleweight champion in the world. And to do that, he needs to have the charisma that he's learning now.
And speaking of charisma, Ki-Young Song trying to lighten things up here.
Well, it's amazing he's doing this because in his corner, they were telling him to use the corners and cut him off more. Get on the inside, more aggressive. Good sweeping left.
Song has never been stopped. Well, he's lost 2. He's only fought 11 times. And now complaining to the referee, Luis Rivera, about the headbutt and the chin. 19 Koreans have fought for the world title in the United States. And right now the ledger is 0-19. They have never won here in the U.S. There are 3 current Korean world champions. Young Kyung Park, the WBA featherweight champ. Also Sung Kil Moon, the WBC Superfly champion. And Hyun Choi, who is the WBA minimum weight, 105 pounds champion.
None of them fought here in Boise, though.
No.
Right.
Nor winning the titles in the United States. Actually, as far as champs, super middleweight is as big as they have come from Korea. In Chobek was the superweight champion up to 1990, and also Chang-Pal Park from 84 to 88. They haven't had any big middleweight champions, and people over there, so they tell us, feel that Ki-Young Song could fit that bill. He has his opportunity to pull off a major upset and win a title here tonight against Reggie Johnson.
Can you tell the difference between these contacts?
On the Grove, ringside for tonight's middleweight championship. Round number 4. Reggie Johnson, the champion, seemingly in full control, in and out now, poking to the face of the challenger, Ki-Young Song. Ki-Young Song, who supposedly was going to come out very aggressive, take the fight to Johnson the first few rounds, set the pace, and there have just been spurts of Song aggressively.
And you know what it is? It's the Eastern fighters versus the Western fighters. From Korea, they don't have the training tactics that the fighters have here. The ability to move, that lateral movement, they don't have the fast combinations like they have here in the United States. That is what's giving Ki-Young Song the trouble.
Well, it looks in the first few rounds at 2 fighters from different classes.
Exactly, in different classes. I mean, this is the Korean style of boxing versus the American style of boxing.
And Reggie Johnson, at this point, has to think that he will just work and work on Song and wear him down over the course of a scheduled 12-round fight.
Right, that's something that he could do. Also, you need to, when you're in there with fighters like Song, you need to spin those punches, because try to cut your opponent up. He said coming into this match, I'm not looking for a knockout, I'm just going to take it round by round. As for Song, he said he's not impressed with the punching power of Reggie Johnson. And when you're not impressed with your opponent's punching power, that's when you can get hit. Every fighter can punch a little bit. And they hurt a lot of it.
Well, Song may get more and more impressed as this one goes on. We have had some possible butt problems here. The headbutt. We're talking in the boxing context. 1 minute to go in this 4th round.
And now Reggie has Song right where he wants him, reaching for him, trying to rush in. They've wanted Song to be more aggressive.
Reggie Johnson looking to showcase his boxing ability.
In a fight like this, he can. Between rounds, Joe Goosen telling him, use the short uppercut. You got to shorten it and move side to side. Good instructions, and Reggie is following them perfectly.
There's the time remaining in the 4th.
See how Song leans over in the waist? That's why they want him to use the uppercut. Right there. There it is.
Well, do you take points away for not recognizing and using that uppercut in your mind?
Well,
I mean, not as a judge.
If your corner tells you to, you have to rely on your corner. They can see your mistakes, also your opponent's mistakes.
Do you want to make more money? Sure, we all do.
Respect the power of Reggie Johnson. Johnson had some clear-cut shots. And Song then waving to the crowd after taking that combination upstairs.
Well, Song said he's very clever inside the ring. I didn't know that meant clever with the crowd. Very clever. Reggie has not missed a shot today.
A little early in this round, Johnson was going to the body. There he is again, just trying to wear down Song.
And it's because Song is showing signs of fatigue. His mouth is open, the heads are coming down. Between rounds, he sits on his stool slumping. Appears to be losing wind, losing steam.
Out of his league against Reggie Johnson. 10 seconds left in round number 5, and Song just trying to take this now as long as he can. Maybe hope to hit the home run.
Usually, when you send Flowers out of town,
The punches to it. This is a perfect fight for Reggie. He had to fight with Lamar Parks. It was a tough, roaring type fight. Now you want to come back with a fight that you can get the rounds on, you can learn some stuff on. The fighter will push you a little bit, but you're not in danger of getting beat.
Well, Reggie Johnson has really hammered away the last couple of rounds, but finding out that indeed it is a tough customer. Song, who puts his arms in the air when he gets tagged to show Johnson he didn't even feel it, and he is hanging right in there. He's taking a beating over the 6 rounds. Now, the danger to Reggie Johnson here, Sean, could be one thing. He's had a tendency to let up in his fights. That may have cost him the Tony fight. Against Steve Collins, he started aggressively, then lagged in the middle rounds and had to come on late to pull out a majority decision. So there are times he loses the focus, and he's so far ahead in this fight. That is a possible danger. Now Song trying to use some tactics.
Yeah,
with a smile on his face.
And that's one of the other things that he is still learning. All fighters must concentrate 100% inside the ring. If not, you can get hurt, you can get knocked out, you can get killed. You have to 100% concentration. That's one of the things that he's learning. Also, he wants to be more charismatic in the ring, and the way to do that is focus 100% on your boxing career. Like, this is the fight of your life, and you have to win it more than anything else. And it is the fight of his life. He has to win this fight today to get bigger and better things.
Well, looking over the horizon, he knows the 3 fighters he is looking at, all busy coming up. James Toney with a matchup against Iran Barkley. Julian Jackson will be going head-to-head against Gerald McClellan. Roy Jones has an encounter with Glenn Wolfe ahead.
Keep your punches up. Luis Rivera says.
And just like Buddy McGirt is facing Sweet Pea Whitaker. Oh, there's that uppercut.
They said shorten the uppercut, and there it is. That's why they won it.
And Joe Goosen knew what he was talking about, because that's one of the most effective punches of the night. And a night of many effective punches for Reggie Johnson.
Well, Joe Goosen is making me a fan of his over there. In that Lamar Parks fight, he had it pegged right. I thought it was closer, but Joe had it right on the mark. Reggie comfortably ahead.
Reggie Johnson must think he's fighting in Houston in front of his hometown crowd. He's got the crowd here in Boise chanting his name as we come to the closing seconds in round number 6. Six rounds down and 6 more over the horizon. Reggie Johnson scoring some big shots there in the 6th, and the uppercut to Keong Song. And after the 6th round, Reggie Johnson listening to Joe Goosen in his corner.
You get on his side, use that shoulder, make a miss, slip, and then go into your combination mode. You're just screwing them up. You know what I mean, Reg? That's nice work there. You know what? When you back them up, Reg, off that jab, long left hand, and then you end up on the inside. Can't beat that combo right there.
And
nice corner, good and slow pace. They're trying to slow him down a little bit. They told him got to get that heart rate down a little bit. Perfect corner. Good instructions, and following those instructions is Johnson. When he goes out this round, he slides over to the side. He steps around. He uses the uppercuts on the inside.
You know, they said that Keong Song is Korea's answer to Troy Dorsey, but when you think of it in this matchup, though, Sean, that might be playing right into the hands of a Reggie Johnson, that kind of a fighter.
Exactly. Reggie needs a complementary opponent, one who will rush in like he's got Song doing now. One that he can slide around on, one that he can take that half step back reset and unload on him. Oh, good combination. Look at these punches. Very nice. Now he'll shake his head. That means that he's hurt.
Yeah. Keong Song Well, maybe this time he didn't have the, there it is. I was going to say he didn't have the strength to raise his arms. He just stuck his tongue out at Reggie. Actually, it's Song who's bringing some of the charisma into the ring.
And, you know, now is what Reggie needs and what he wants to do. Turn it up now to the next speed. Go up and throw as many fast combinations as you can. And they told him that also between rounds. And the referee, Luis Rivera, will stop the fight because, let's face it, Song is not punching back. Song is simply shaking his head no.
Song with that cut on the left cheekbone. And one thing for Keong Song, hanging in there.
Yeah, tough, durable, much like Genaro Leon.
As advertised, who came on later in the fight last week. And we will pause for a word from your local cable systems. Budweiser presents USA's Tuesday Night Fights.
Excited in the corner of Reggie Johnson about these uppercuts that he's using on the inside. They want him to keep throwing those. And when you knock the punch up like that, there is sticking his tongue out.
The antics of Keong Song.
Kind of get Reggie mad.
Maybe we should call him Comedian Song.
Yeah.
The chance again from this Boise crowd, the now adopted hometown of Reggie Johnson.
Yeah.
They have taken to him here, and now he chases Song.
He's giving the crowd something to cheer about. He's the one that's fighting in this. Excellent. Right at the end.
Luis Rivera stops it there.
And you have to turn it up. There is that second speed that I was talking about earlier. You have to turn that up to the second speed, and the referee will step in and stop the fight. Perfect. Good work by Reggie. He brought to this fight what he learned in the Lamar Parks match. And there you can see the effects. Zeroing in on that left eye, making that swell more, cutting over there, the bruising on the cheek. The effects of the good work from Reggie Johnson.
No arguments in the corner of Keong Song, who last round or so fighting just with sight in one eye, the left eye completely closed.
And I had given every round to Reggie Johnson. Here is the end. Reggie turned it up right at this round. You got to go up to the next speed, throw as much as you can, and here he is. Good combinations downstairs. He comes up to the head. Luis Rivera said, I've seen enough.
Well, Song showed some toughness, but as we talked about earlier, not a worthy world title challenger, very much a one-sided fight. And hard to even put a world title tag to this matchup.
Well, it was a workout.
Yeah, but a world title shouldn't be just a workout.
A world title, exactly.
Let's get the official time. Let's go to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time, 40 seconds in round number 8. The referee in charge, Luis Rivera, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout, and still WBA middleweight champion of the world, Reggie Sweet Johnson.